Hello, hello, and good day to you, my friend. Today we are going to be hatching a new legendary, and we'll basically be finishing off the yearly collection today, but there's still like an extra dragon that we have to get hatching to fully do that and unlock the first trampler style dragon in the game. But without further ado, this is the High Priestess dragon, which is of course the current dragon of the month. This dragon took me 2 breeding attempts this month, which was quite nice, but High Priestess is, I'd say, a middling breed for a dragon in the month, like not super easy, not super hard, but, you know, banana dragon combo worked out for me in the end. But High Priestess is indeed a legendary fire and water dragon, and because High Priestess is a legendary, of course I wouldn't really recommend you put it on a team, but, you know, it's good for the collection, and after we unlock this dragon, we do unlock this brand new Soothsayer dragon. And so when we hatch this Soothsayer dragon, that is officially the completed yearly collection, and Trampler is ours. I have to say, Soothsayer has a very nice looking shiny ball on the end of its tail. Big fan of that one. But you have completed the Fates of Winter. So of course with these yearly rewards, you have to hatch every single dragon of the month, basically per quarter, and then the epic that you unlock with it. Or in this case, the Soothsayer is actually a legendary. So we get a bonus legendary, which is nice for our dragon pass points, I guess. And at the end, after you've hatched all 4 of these, we will get Trampler. But I guess we should take a look at little High Priestessy first. So the High Priestess dragon enjoys serving as a guide for trainers looking for answers within themselves, a patient beacon of the unconscious mind, intuition, and balance. It reminds you to trust your gut. Fair enough. Fair enough, High Priestessy Westy. Not really a fan of the baby form of High Priestess, if I'm being honest. It has a very, I'd say, masculine looking face, but kind of just a weird face. Not a big fan. Also, I'm not sure if the entire Christmas habitat thing works for High Priestess, but we're just going to work with it for now. But like I said, even though High Priestess, I wouldn't really recommend you use it on a team. All things considered, if you just needed a range of elements for some sort of scuffed team, you know, water and fire isn't a bad combo of elements to have on a team. Usually, they're not on the same dragon, but hey ho, if you were using a legendary anyway, it's not exactly like you'd be following the meta. But High Priestess here in general, you know, I guess this is going to be the end of all of those tarot collection cards, and I've still not forgiven Gameloft for calling all of the other dragons the, and including that in the naming, and then now it's just High Priestess, Hermit, out of nowhere. They just changed the naming convention. I will never ever forgive them for just stopping that suddenly. Never. It will be one of my biggest gripes until the day I die. But Sayer, along with some of the others, you know, they've got nice little designs to them, and obviously they're based on the tarots, so anyone that was interested in that sort of thing, you know, there's some dragons for you. But let's pop that Soothsayer dragon in here. Soothsayer being a legendary void and water dragon, which again, could be some slightly useful elements, but Soothsayer is going to take another 2 days now. If it was like a day, I probably would have skipped it with relics, but I'm not that wasteful. I'm not going to waste an entire, like, what is that, 6 relics just on Soothsayer? It's not worth it. But does mean lots of bonus points, like I said before, for the DM pass. Which, now that the DM pass has actually been reduced in terms of how many points we need to get, you know, that's a big thumbs up for me, because honestly, I usually just used to ignore them, because it was boring. It was boring having to sit here and log in every hour just to do basically terrible breeds for dragons I didn't care about. But anyway, I digress. We do also, of course, still have Dragon Board and stuff like that going on. No huge drops from me so far. We're on chapter, well, we're on our way to finishing chapter 8 at the moment. And in general, I find that this has been a lot more forgiving than it used to be. Mainly because there's no bingo anymore, which means that we're not wasting stones actually just refreshing all the time. I have been hit with a couple of bad spells of reroll luck, but it's a lot better than it used to be, because before we used to have to reroll for every single tile that we needed every day, and that was kind of a problem. Was not a fan of that. And now we just need a 1, which is fantastic. So yeah, we'll land on this blue tile, and then we'll get a free set of currency. We'll get on here, we'll get our purple. Lovely. Fantastic. Another singular piece. Great. So, in terms of Dragon Board, you'll still have to be logging in every 6 hours, doing all your quests, all that sort of thing. It's gonna take a lot of effort. A lot of logging in, basically. It's not difficult to do that, it's just very, very demanding, which is the main problem. Do we get any Primal Element? We do! We did. We get 2 lots of Primal Element out of that chest. Isn't that nice? The reason I'm opening just 1 set of chests at the moment is because we do have an enchantment frenzy on at the moment. If you are ever going to open chests, make sure you do it while that is on, because that is the best time to get the most trinkets out of those chests. But I guess for now we'll just continue with our daily questing, boss challenging, and everything else. Here we are. Enchantment Frenzy. Very good. Always take advantage of it when it's on. One thing I have been sort of ignoring is dungeon. Well, I haven't been ignoring it, but I haven't been as on it, as a carb on it, as I could have been. Now, if you want to see great success during these events, you have to be doing pretty much every reset that you can. But, you know, if your schedule doesn't align with the event, then you may just end up failing no matter what you do anyway. Like, if you're not going to be at home as a Windows player for a specific time, like me, then you're probably just not going to get anything out of this event of value. So I'm sort of like, yeah, I'll do the dungeon when I remember. I get it. I should do the dungeon. I'm doing the dungeon. I know me. I complain at myself when I don't do it, but, you know, it's really important that if you want to see good success, you're doing this dungeon all the time. And like here I activated before I slept, I activated this dungeon reset, and now it's still open for me to do. But then I've got another dungeon reset that I can do immediately after this one ends. So that's what you can do if you're, say, really, really busy and you, say, can't do the reset straight away. I guess you could say you're stacking dungeon resets to do, which does mean that after the second one, well, after the first one's actually finished, like say you wake up, then you're gonna have to do 2 runs in a row. Which, you know, might be, ew, dungeon runs. I don't want to do 2 dungeon runs in a row. But that's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do if you want to see success anyway. But, you know, I'm excited to be getting our first trampler dragon very soon now, in 2 days' time. It's obviously not one of the new Primal Dragons, and people have been asking me, you know, where are the Primal Dragons? Are they in the game? Are they in the game? Yes, Primals are in the game, they're just not available yet. We don't actually know how the first one's going to be released at this time, I don't believe. I don't think they've given out any, you know, teasings or anything for that. But Primals are in the game, that's why the Primal Element enchantment materials are available in the arena. And also in those enchantment chests, because if they weren't, then they wouldn't be giving us the mats, right? But you can check in the codex, there's a few of them in there. One of them is probably that alien-looking guy that we kept seeing in the previews. So I wonder how he's going to get released. Because we got big fatty trampler divine fat cleric in the codex, but where is Mr. Alien? I want to know where he's at, honestly. But, you know, continue with your dungeoneering. Hopefully you get some nice ticket luck out of those purple chests, because I am up to the purple chest. I got up to there yesterday. But, you know, every time you don't get the big ticket drops out of there, it just kind of sucks. Getting the 10s? Ew. Not what you want. You want the bigger drops, so that then every single purple chest you open is at least a decent amount of value, right? That's what we'd all want. But does it happen? Very rarely. Okay, not that rarely. The rarer thing is actually getting the big drop out of the silver horns. If you've been trying to go for silver horns on the yellow tiles for the dragon board, getting a big drop from those is very unlikely. So those are the bigger question, all things considered. And is my entire team just gonna get frightened this run? I know I'm not really paying attention, but like, Jesus, can we not do this? I'm not a fan of all of this. We should be able to outlive it at this point, maybe, but like, Nezha, maybe not. Maybe we're just dead. Why would they do this? Why would you frighten me and plant me and all these nasty things, game? This is very, very uncouth of you. Can we see if Nezha's gonna survive? They will! And back to full we go. Hell yeah, baby. But, you know, this is what it's like during some plant weeks, especially if, you know, you get the shadow and then you get the plant and then you do all sorts of funky stuff. Sometimes you're just gonna get screwed over. But in the early rounds it's okay, because generally if you've got a rare to epic sigil divine user, you can normally out-heal it. But not always. Not always. Especially with a singular healer, shielder, diviner like me. That's one of the biggest problems with a team like mine. The fact that Nezha has way too many roles to have to fulfill. So if anything happens to Nezha, it's like, well, that's the run over. It's also the reason why I'm considering my next Dragon Edition to be someone that can replace Erlang Shen, that does have either water or earth, so that then at least some of the burden's taken off of Nezha, right? I don't know. Realistically, the entire team would be remade if there was just a reset button in the game, but that doesn't exist. So we live with what we have. We are grateful for what we do have, but we can only imagine what could be. That was pretty deep, right? You think that was deep? I think that was deep. Anyway, this dungeon run's probably going to end relatively soon, and honestly, I want to at least take a 5-minute break and come back for more dungeoneering in a second. But, you know, realistically, this dungeon isn't a terrible, terrible dungeon for me and a few other people. Like, there are the dragons like Bighorn that tend to have that shadow upgrade that sometimes is really bad. And especially with turtle evasion, he can be like impossible to take down sometimes. But for the most part, it's a lot better than some of the other burnout weeks. So I'd rather have this dungeon rather than the burnout week where the first like 20 dragons are just energy. That one's a terrible week. So I'm not sure. I could either, if I wanted to, gem this week, or we could take a gamble and wait to see what next week is like. But honestly, I think that's going to be really risky. Like, if we can at least get 1,500 minimum per run this week, which I've been doing quite consistently now. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Still undecided if I'm going to actually gem or not. Because otherwise, if I don't gem, I'm not going to get Pokra, obviously. So it's a decision we're all probably struggling with at the moment. It's like, ooh, is it worth it? Do I do it? I don't know. I truly do not know. And also, trying to get these weak attack quests sometimes done is kind of a pain. Because not all of my dragons are, you know, have weak attacks to use on the enemies all the time. That can be a little bit of a painful slog. Like, I need to use Ancient, but then I also need to be using Fire if I want to get weak attacks with Fire. Just a never-ending struggle. And trying to use Nezha's Earth to do weak attacks, when am I going to get the chance to do that? I'm always busy shielding and healing. Like, there's never an opportunity. This is literally the definition of first world problems. But, you know, I'm gonna complain about them anyway because my DML. My poor DML. But, you know, sometimes I'll take the risk. Like, sometimes I won't shield when really I should, just so that I can try and get a weak attack quest done. Maybe I'll die for it. I'd deserve it if I did. You know, it's some of the fun with dungeon. Like, ooh, do I take this very risky calculation? Do I depend on them not using their fire damage over time on this dragon? Let's do it. How often does it go badly? I'd say like 30% of the time. And then other times it works out like this one, and we just keep going and going. But, yeah, I would say in general, good luck if you are trying to go for dragons like Pokra and all the other big bad boys. You know, trying to get 1,500 in the first 2 weeks if you don't have any existing pieces is a very, very tough task. Oh, we're dead. There we go. That's what I was waiting for. But look, we got our free brawl, so I'm just gonna instantly restart because why the heck not? But like I said, you're gonna have to do a lot of dungeon grinding, even if realistically you don't really want to. That's just the way that the game be. I guess we'll go up to 2k here since we've already sat here and done all of these dungeon runs for now. And then I will probably skedaddle. But at least you'll get to see me open up the purple chest, right? You get to see me open up the purple chest. There we go. 2002. Very cool. Obviously, I could have gotten up to 2k last time if I'd have been super paying attention and grinding out the quests. But, you know, YOLO. There we go, 14 tickets. That's exactly what I wanted to see. And I guess we'll open up 10 of those while we're here. I don't want to use all of them, because you should always save at least 5 of your chests so that you can do the Dragon Board quests when they come through. I like to save at least 10. But open them up and get basically nothing. Whoa! I love this game! Thank you. Thank you for that fantastic RNG game. But anyway, in terms of the actual game, you know, we'll wait for Soothsayer to finish hatching. We will, you know, be glad that we got our hands on this new legendary, but it's mainly Trampler that I care about. We'll get him in like a couple of days. But anyway, for now, I wish you the best. Until next time, I hope to see you then.